there. How is everyone out there doing? This is Dr. Lenore Coleman, President and founder of Healing Our Village, coming to you today, talking about diabetes with our Sugar Buster series that we do here live streaming on Saturdays, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So I encourage all of you out there that have diabetes, that have prediabetes, I'd love you to tune in on Saturdays so that you can learn everything that you need to know about the management of diabetes, but also to prevent diabetes. You know, we can prevent diabetes from happening in a lot of people just by them watching what they eat and trying to get their weight under better control and getting that exercise in every day. So many of you had a wonderful time yesterday. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and we probably ate more than we should have. I tried not to. Tried to keep my portion down, but I had a little bit of everything, right? Because everything tastes so good. So I thought that we would do our nutrition obesity prevention segment today. This segment has already been done this month, but because this is the time of eating, the holidays is when we are most challenged with trying to eat healthy and not just fall into those old habits of eating the foods that we ate as kids, cooking it the way we used to cook it, following those old family recipes that are full of butter, full of sugar, full of all the things that we need to really cut back on. You know, our parents and our grandparents, they were able to eat way more than we can eat because they were working, doing physical labor. They were working hard. My dad worked for the post office. He didn't have a truck. He actually walked his route with a bag on his shoulder full of mail. So, you know, even our postal service workers are not working like my dad worked, you know, for 40 years ago. So now a lot of us are in front of, behind desks, doing computer-based stuff, doing home-based stuff. And other than our construction workers who are still out there and moving around, or our warehouse workers are still doing some walking. Most of us are not getting in the amount of exercise that we need to burn the calories that we're consuming. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. You see then the middle picture here on this slide, you got your carrots, you got your cucumbers, you got your bell peppers, you got all your vegetables. And so as we think about, you know, eating more healthy, trying to really focus on that center slide and the kinds of foods that are there, those vegetables and even fruits, those are best for us because it really helps curb our appetites, but it also increases our fiber, good for cancer prevention, and helps us to be able to maintain a healthy weight. Now, just for you who may be tuning in for the first time, our Sugar Buster series is all of these topics that you see there on this slide are covered. Every week I cover a different topic. So we start off talking about diabetes. We talk about monitoring your blood sugar. We talk about nutrition and healthy eating. We talk about heart disease and cholesterol and hypertension. We do those in 2 separate talks. We talk about just men's health issues in general, and the reason why I focus on men's health as opposed to women's health is because our men out there are typically do not take care of themselves as good as our ladies. So therefore, I try to focus on men's health issues with a special emphasis on hypertension. And then I talk about stress and coping and anxiety and depression. And that's a very important topic. So if you've never heard me do that topic, it's up on our YouTube channel. In fact, all of these are up on Healing Our Village Official, which is our YouTube channel. And so I encourage you to watch those and share them with your family, share them with your friends so that we can do a better job. From November the 1st until Valentine's Day, there are going to be many, many people who are having heart attacks, strokes, dying from cancer, dying from all sorts of chronic conditions. And it just seems to happen more frequently during that time period of November 1st to February the 14th, Valentine's Day. And I've already lost my brother in that time period. Many of my friends are starting to have lost loved ones. So I encourage everyone to connect with your family. It's so important during this time period. Make sure everybody is eating, making sure everybody's taking their medicines, making sure that nobody is feeling depressed or lonely, because this is what happens during this season. And so I want all of us to take responsibility for talking to our friends and our families, our co-workers, making sure that we get everybody through these holidays so in a healthy state of mind and a state of physical conditioning. So when you talk about diabetes, which we do every week, there are certain things that are key to the management of diabetes. And healthy eating is really important. Exercise is really important. Knowing your numbers, monitoring your blood sugar is really important. And then getting that exercise in. You know, you hear a lot about steps. And people have Fitbits and Versas and other kinds of trackers, fitness trackers that they wear. Your telephone actually, you know, is a fitness tracker. So for those of you who don't want to buy the expensive fitness trackers, just use your phone as a way to sort of calculate your steps. Keep it on your hip so that it'll be able to accurately calculate your steps. And you know what? We talk about 10,000 steps, but now they're talking about it needs to be 11,000 steps. And listen, I struggle to get 5,000 steps a day. I have to be intentional to get up to 10,000 steps a day. So it's not easy. It sounds easy, but if you're not in a job where you're walking a lot, it is not as easy. So all of those things have to be combined together for you to successfully manage your diabetes, your prediabetes, and your cholesterol, and also help your hypertension. What we know is that if we don't watch what we eat, then we're overweight. We're like this little guy on the scale who looking down at that needle on his scale, and he is not happy. You guys have digital scales now, and you're looking at that number, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, if you were brave enough to weigh after Thanksgiving, you probably didn't like the number that you saw. So during this time period, it's really important to really increase your exercise, because that'll offset some of these extra calories that you're taking in due to the holidays. Why do we care about obesity? Well, we care about it because we know that being overweight causes you to have increase in your cholesterol in many cases. Cholesterol is bad for your blood vessels. It causes damage to your blood vessels. We know that if your cholesterol is high, your blood pressure is high. All of that, people who are overweight tend to have higher blood pressures. If you lose weight, your blood pressure actually goes down. All right? And we know that blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol cause you to have the heart attacks and strokes. Also causes you to have the heart failure. Hypertension is one of the #1 causes of heart failure. Your heart not pumping as efficiently as it should. That's what heart failure is. And then kidney disease. Hypertension is directly linked to kidney disease. And we know that people who are overweight have an increased risk for diabetes and hypertension. So that's why we talk a lot about these risk factors, because we know that in the end of the day, it causes heart attacks, it causes strokes, and it's one of the leading causes of people on dialysis. So they have to actually go to a dialysis center because their kidneys have shut down to remove all the waste and the toxins out of their body because their kidneys aren't working. And if your kidneys aren't working, it doesn't also get rid of that excess fluid that you may be carrying around. So keeping our kidneys healthy is really, really important. And so that's why for the last 12 months, I've really been focused on stopping hypertension. So for those of you who have high blood pressure, for those of you who have hypertension in your families, I really want you all to start bringing a blood pressure cuff to every family gathering and take everybody's blood pressure. And that number needs to be less than 130 over 80. Less than 130 over 80 is good. And you need to make sure that they know their numbers. And so if you want to do one thing to help your family live longer, make sure, especially if they're African American, that they know their blood pressure number. Now, when you talk about being overweight or you talk about being obese, that's actually two different things, all right? So there's something called body mass index. And this body mass index actually tells you what category you fall into, all right? So people who are overweight have a BMI, a body mass index, that's between the ranges of 25 and 29.9. Once you hit 30 or greater, you're considered to be obese. Now, you might not think you're obese, and you might not think that you look like you're overweight or obese, but these numbers don't lie. And what we care about is what the body, what the inside of your body thinks, not what you think, not what your family thinks or your girlfriend or boyfriend thinks. That has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with what the inside of your body thinks. And if the inside of your body knows that you're overweight or obese, it causes some of those complications that we just talked about. So this BMI number is really easy for you to calculate. You just go to Google right now and you just put in BMI, body mass index calculator, and a calculator is going to come up, and you put in your height and your weight and you hit the return button and you're going to see your BMI. And then you're going to compare it to these numbers I just talked to you about, all right? And you'll know right now what category you fall in. And if you're a normal weight person, that means you are less than 25 in terms of your body mass index. Now here's a nice little chart that's also out there. It's available on the internet, and it will show you people, it shows you again, your height, it shows you your weight, and then you'll see if you're in that red zone. And that red zone is the obesity zone. You want to be in the green zone if you can, where you're at close to normal body weight or normal body weight. That's important. And you also don't want to be underweight, right? But in the United States of America right now, the number of people who are underweight, that's the very tiny percentage, okay? All right, so this is a journey. Trying to get your weight under control is a journey. And there's an African proverb that says, if you wait for tomorrow, tomorrow will come. And if you don't wait for tomorrow, tomorrow still comes. And so I know that I myself am always saying, okay, I'm going to start doing better on Monday. Okay. And then something comes up, somebody's birthday, a party, I go on vacation, whatever. A new restaurant opens up and I end up not following my meal plan. This is the trick. It's okay for you to have these occasions in your life where you don't necessarily follow your meal plan. But 5 out of the 7 days, you need to follow your meal plan. That's really important. And it's hard. It takes a lot of concentration, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. So this is not easy. I know it's not easy because I've had a weight problem my whole life. And there are certain periods of my life where I'm doing really good and I'm able to keep everything under control. And then there's certain periods of my life where I just can't get it together. All right, but what I try to do, and what I'm really trying to do right now, is no matter what time of life I'm in, right, the stressful period or the calm period, I'm really trying to get to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week. That's my new goal. It's not New Year's yet, but I've already set this resolution for myself, and I'm not necessarily just doing cardio. See, I like cardio. I go and I do my classes, my Zumba and my line dancing, and I do that, but I don't usually do the weights. And so right now I'm focused on building muscle because muscle is good because muscle burns calories. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm trying to get out of this proverb where I'm always putting things off till tomorrow. Now, you'll hear people tell you on television, your doctor tells you, your family tells you, everybody tells you that all you have to do is eat right. What does that mean, eating right? All right, well, this picture sort of talks to you a little bit about that. So, of course, the tomato and the veggies and the lean meats are all good on this picture. Okay, the hamburger and French fries, probably not so good. All right, so, but let's talk about that for a minute. So what if I didn't put the cheese on the hamburger, so it didn't have any cheese, and what if I used a meatless burger, a veggie burger, okay? And what if I bought hamburger buns that were lower in calories, right? And what if I air fried the potatoes, the French fries? What if I put those in an air fryer versus cooking them in grease? Does that make a difference? And the answer to the question is yes. Yes, that made you a huge difference in the number of calories for that burger and fries. So it's not necessarily what you eat. A lot of it has to do with how it's prepared. And that does count. That does count. So when you're talking about eating right, which doesn't mean anything, I don't know what that means. What we're going to talk about today is how you can, during that 5 days out of 7, eat calories, things that are low calorie and low fat. That's what I care about. When I define eating right to you, it's eating low calorie, low fat. Because we're only supposed to have so many calories per day. Women need to be somewhere around 12 to 1,500 calories a day. Men need to be around 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day, unless you're super active. So it's all about calories in, calories out. It's all about calories in, calories out. If you are burning more calories out than you are taking in, you lose weight or you maintain your weight. If you are taking in more calories than you're burning out, then you're going to gain weight. It's really simple. It's really simple. This is not hard. So your job then is to monitor your weight, which means you got to get a scale and you have to weigh, okay, often. And I'm going to let you figure out what that means to you, that word often means to you. And you're going to try to make the number on that scale go down and not up. Okay, that's what we're trying to do by eating healthy. Now, there's all sorts of diet books and nutrition books, and this is the My Pyramid that's on the FDA website, and all of these basic tools that are out there say pretty much the same thing. They want you to eat smaller portions. They want you to try to eat at the same time every day. They want you to try to eat 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks, right? So you're not super hungry, because when you get super hungry, you overeat. And maybe even try to eat the same amount every day, right? So you're keeping your portions consistent, right? So you're not eating huge amounts and then some days you're hardly eating at all. You don't want to do that, this whole intermittent fasting. I went to the American Diabetes Association meeting this year, and there was a lot of studies which have been completed that they showed at that meeting. And what it showed is this whole intermittent fasting at the end of 2 or 3 years, the people who were on just your regular low-fat, low-calorie, portion-controlled meal plan lost more weight, but as much weight as the people who were doing intermittent fasting. In fact, in some of the studies, just your low-fat, low-calorie, watching your portions did better. So all of you who are going through this whole, I don't eat after 8 o'clock and I don't eat again until 12 hours later and all of that, it sounds pretty cool, right? And a lot of you are going to call me up and say, well, no, that's not true because I lost weight. Well, let me just tell you this. Whenever you start doing anything where you're thinking about it, you're going to lose weight. You're always going to lose weight if you're thinking about it, because you're watching what you're eating, you're watching how much you're eating. It has less to do with the intermittent fasting and more to do with, again, how many calories did you consume in that 24-hour period. Right? So the reason it works is because if you look at the 24-hour period and you're not eating 12 of the 24 hours, well, of course you're not getting in as many calories as if you're able to eat all 24 hours. Right? So this is not magic. It's not magic. And the data actually showed that. Now, I happen to like this particular food pyramid because I have some issues with arthritis. And I had hip replacements, and my knees are always giving me, especially during the cold weather time, I get, little aches and pains. This is an anti-inflammatory diet that was done by Dr. Wheel. There's a book out there. I like this because at the top of the pyramid, it has green tea, it has a little bit of red wine, and it has chocolate. And I happen to like chocolate. Now, I don't have diabetes. My blood sugar is normal. All right, so for those out there who do have diabetes, you would need to eat sugar-free chocolate. But you can see that all of these pyramids are the same. You can see at the wide bottom of the pyramid, it's where all your fruits and your vegetables and your fish and all of the lower calorie items are on the bottom of the pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid is where you have your sweets. You have your other things that they don't want you to have a lot of. You have small amounts, all right? So the bottom line to all of this is more fruits and vegetables, more lean meats, more fish in your diet, less beef. Doesn't mean you can't have it, but less of it. Make sure it's lean. Make sure you watch how you cook it, and then you'll be able to lose weight or maintain your weight. Now, this meal planning, this idea of planning is the issue here, right? We have to learn how to plan our meals and think about it over several days, right? So most of the people that I know who are out here really trying to eat those fresh fruits and vegetables are shopping maybe 2 or 3 times a week, because a lot of the vegetables don't stay. And so they're having to purchase those, at least the vegetables and the fruits, every 2 to 3 days, right? We want you to think about this meal planning, because if you do that, then you're thinking about the effect of food on your blood pressure, the effect of food on your cholesterol, the effect of food on your overall health, all right? Because that's what we're trying to get you to do. When you think about the approach to meal planning, I think that trying to figure out how you're going to count your portions, how you're going to count your calories, you have to figure that out. And there are different methods. There's the plate method, which is you've seen a regular plate. So in the top of the plate, you have it's 2 quarters. And then at the bottom of the plate is like half the plate is vegetables. So that's called the plate method. Some people count carbohydrates. A lot of people with diabetes count how many carbs they can have per meal. It should be somewhere around 45 to 55 carbohydrates per meal. If you have diabetes, the lower the better. How you're going to handle alcohol. Are you going to drink it all? That's a conversation with you and your doctor, especially if you have diabetes. Remember that alcohol are useless calories. They're like eating fat. It's like eating butter. So if you're going to have a drink, just remember that you're drinking butter. It's not fair, but what can I tell you? Okay? And there's certain alcohols that have more calories than others. So you got to figure this whole alcohol thing if you're somebody who likes to have a cocktail, all right? You also have to figure out how, when you're going to eat your biggest meal, when you're going to eat your smallest meal. You need to think about that. I usually tell people to eat their biggest meal during the middle of the day and try to eat less at night if you can. I also tell people you got to figure out breakfast. Breakfast is an important meal of the day. It really is. And so it actually gets your metabolic rate, your body churning. Because if you don't eat in the morning, in those morning hours, your body starts to think that you're going to starve it all day long. So you got to get something in. So you got to figure out how you're going to do that. You need to substitute out high-calorie foods for low-calorie foods, all right? So here's an example of the high-calorie foods. It's your salad dressing, it's your whole milk, it's your cheeses, it's your peanut butter, all right? Low-calorie are your fruits like pears and apples and grapes and peas and beans and lentils, a whole grain. If you're going to pick a bread to eat, the more grain it has in it, multi-grain bread, the better it is. I always go for the lower calorie bread slices. They only got 45 calories in it per slice. So I try to take the calories out that way. Lettuce and cucumbers, all of that basically are free foods. You can have as many of those as you want. Smaller portions is critical. It's all about smaller portions. So I tell people all the time, they say, oh, I got this new supplement that I purchased at GNC, and man, I'm losing all this weight. And I tell them, you know what, you're eating less. And so they start thinking about it, and they say, you know, I am eating less. So getting into a healthy cycle, taking your supplements, getting to the gym, getting out there and getting your walk in, all of that stuff changes your psyche. So you tend to start paying attention to what you're eating as well. So maybe you get rid of all those sugary drinks that you used to drink, and you now are not drinking your calories. All right, maybe you're not going and getting the quart of ice cream that you used to eat every week. You're not getting that anymore. All right, you're substituting that out with some strawberries, with whipped cream, or other kinds of lower calorie snacks. You're avoiding fried foods, or maybe you went out and got yourself an air fryer. So now everything is air fried. And so that oil that was part of your calorie count is now gone. All right, maybe you're not eating as much bacon and sausage and butter. Maybe you're not eating a whole can of nuts like you used to do in one sitting while you were watching TV. Maybe you're using canola oil instead of using solid fats. It's all about solid. If that fat that you're using is a solid fat, that's bad. Those are called saturated fats. So you've gotten rid of those out of your diet. You're also thinking about how you cook it. So I went out and got rid of all my cookware and got me some brand new pots and pans that have this non-stick coating. So now I just use the spray to be able to cook all my food. So that took a whole lot of calories out because I changed the way I cooked it. That's a big difference. It's a big difference. Going from whole milk to skim milk. All of these are small things that you can do that will help you along this journey, because it's a journey that you're taking. You're trying to figure this thing out. So now let's talk about each individual food source. So your first food source, this is your energy source. These are carbs. Carbohydrates. You always hear about your long distance runners and how they have to, the night before the race, they eat a lot of pasta. They eat a lot of carbohydrate because that's the energy food, all right? So it is the main source of energy for the body. It comes as what we call simple sugars or complex sugars, and we'll talk about that. But we do know that it's the carbohydrates, when you eat them, that the body turns into sugar, to glucose. That is the chemical name for sugar. So you eat these carbohydrates and your body changes those things into glucose. And it is the glucose that is increased if you have diabetes, because your insulin in your body is not working good enough to be able to keep that glucose level down. And we talked about that in episode number 1. So those who missed diabetes overview, go back and listen to that talk. Simple sugars are your honey, your syrup, your candy, all right? The bad thing about those, and sugary drinks, the bad thing about those is that sugar gets into your system really fast and peaks your blood sugar. The peaks are what causes the damage to your eyes, to your nerves, to your kidneys. It's the peaks in your blood sugar. So you don't want to take anything that's a fast sugar source, right? You want to try to make sure that whatever you're eating has some fiber in it, has more nutrients, more vitamins, more minerals in it. That's what we're trying to do. We also know that if you eat those things that are high in fiber, it helps you not be as hungry. So it decreases your hunger. So we want to avoid things that are absorbed quickly into the bloodstream. So more complex, more fiber, more minerals, more vitamins. It takes energy for your body to digest those complex carbohydrates. And if the body has to work to digest it, then it's burning calories as well, just to digest the food. That's why we recommend the more complex carbohydrates. So those include your starchy vegetables, your pasta, your beans, your peas, your potatoes. All of those are fibrous. And so it's harder for the body to digest those things. They're not simple sugars, all right? But they also are very good for an energy source because they also last a little bit longer as well. So you're looking for more soluble fiber as opposed to insoluble fiber, right? And if you think about that, that's going to help you maintain your weight and lose weight. Protein. Protein is for the muscles. You have to have protein to build muscle. It also helps with some of the enzyme systems in your body. And enzyme systems are important for breaking down food, for helping various chemical things that happen in your body. So everybody needs protein. A lot of people are on a no protein diet, and that's not good. All right, you have to have some protein. We know that when we're talking about the amount of energy or the amount of calories that you get from protein, you get about 4 calories of energy per gram of protein. We want you to eat about 6 to 8 ounces a day. So when you're thinking about your 3 meals a day and you're eating meat during those 3 meals, all of it has to add up to 6 ounces. So you're going to have to read the package to see how many ounces I'm eating, right? Okay, and making sure that making sure that the meat amount that you're eating is low. Fish is better, turkey is better, all right? But also you have to include your milk in there because milk is also a protein. So you're looking at 2 to 3 servings or 8 ounces altogether of non-fat milk, because dairy is important as well, because it also, especially for women, gives you the calcium that you need. So calcium is important. Now, when you're talking about dairy products, you got to go 2%, 1% versus whole milk. If you don't like skim milk, then at least do 1% milk. It tastes to me is exactly the same as 2%. So I don't, but it's less. So that's what I usually try. If I can find it, I get 1% milk. You also need to look, if you're a yogurt person, you need to look at the calories, and you need to look at what the kind of milk product it's made with, right? Because you want to make sure it's low fat. And so you can look and see how many calories are in a container of yogurt, and you can't be above 120. There's a lot of yogurts out there that have 90 calories, and so those are the ones that I typically purchase. In terms of your fat intake, just remember that eating fat makes you fat. So you got to cut your fat intake. We want to limit your saturated fats. We want you to limit your polyunsaturated fats. We want you to use what they call monounsaturated fats. And so we're going to talk about what those are exactly as we get through the talk here. So your saturated fats, that's everything, remember, that I said was like, you can see it. It's consolidated. All right, so lard, you can see that. Meat, butter, all right, all of those, that stick of butter doesn't melt when you leave it out. It stays as a stick of butter, all right? So you want oils that are liquefied, that are liquid, because they tend to be monounsaturated versus being saturated, right? So when you're talking about saturated fats, I want you to notice that coconut oil is on there. If you set coconut oil out, that coconut oil will congeal. So a lot of people think they're eating healthy because they're using coconut oil, but coconut oil is not good. Coconut milk is good, but coconut oil, no. Okay, so I wanted to show you the picture of these fats so you can get an idea in these test tubes, all right? So you see your butter, your beef, your lamb. You see the white, so butter is the highest, beef is the next, lamb is the same, pork is a little bit less actually. So pork gets a bad rap, but it needs to be lean. And it's like a pork chop. But you can see chicken and fish real low in the amount of fat in that test tube. When you're looking at coconut oil, you see that? Coconut in terms of the amount of fat in that test tube, it's higher than palm oil. You see that? Palm oil. And then there's your chocolate. You see there? Cocoa. So that's why we talk about not eating so much chocolate, because chocolate has a lot of fat in it. So your monounsaturated fats are your olive oil, your canola oil, and your peanut oil. Right? Those are your best oils for you to use to cook in. So this is part of that Mediterranean diet, right? A lot of people are very successful with losing weight by going on that Mediterranean diet, mainly because they're eating healthy fats, and that's very important. Now, here's your olive, you see your avocado, you see your peanut, you see your canola. Compared to those other test tubes, these are very low in fat. You can see it right here in the picture. Now, let's talk about polyunsaturated fats, mostly found in vegetables and fish oils. You maybe have heard of the omega-3 and 6 fatty acids. Actually, are very good for decreasing your triglycerides. So a lot of people actually take capsules of fish oil to be able to get their cholesterol numbers down. It lowers your LDL, but it also lowers your good cholesterol. It lowers your HDL. So you're not supposed to take too much of that. It's very important. Here is your safflower oil, your corn oil, your soybean, all again, low in saturated fat. So those you can use. People eat those sunflower seeds, right? So you can feel pretty good about that in terms of not having a lot of calories. So here's your dietary sources of oleic acid. Again, that's a good acid for you to have. So it's in your olive oil, your peanut oil, your pecan oil, your soybean oil, your sunflower oil, your avocado oil. All of those are good oils. So you hear a lot of people talking about avocados. Well, you can have that, but it is a fat. So think of an avocado like, and people talk about avocado toast. So they're putting their avocado, they're spreading it on their toast just like they would spread butter. So you're not eating the whole thing, you're eating just a small amount. We're going to take a break right here. I want you to get up, I want you to get a glass of water, and we're going to be right back.
Epigallocatechin gallate, superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase. Now, those are names you probably aren't familiar with, but you should be. Those are antioxidants known to fight free radicals. In fact, did you know that some viruses are actually alcohol resistant? One major study showed that by adding the epigallocatechins from green tea, it killed the virus on contact. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm here to share with you an exciting new, technologically advanced, patent-pending green tea hand sanitizing wash from Handout Protection. Now, this is not your typical hand gel designed to just smear all over your hand. This is a hand washing sanitizer to cover your entire hand, both the front and back of your hand, in between your fingers and your wrist. This is a non-sticky sanitizing hand wash designed for convenience to take with you in your purse, pocket, or carry in your lunchbox. As Dr. Josh Ridge has stated, what goes on your body goes into your body. That is why we choose only the highest FDA-compliant ingredients, such as 75% isopropyl alcohol and organic green tea brewed with alkaline water. The only way to protect yourself and your family is to always carry a disposable package of handout with you. This may be the only handout you ever need.
Hey there, how you doing? Welcome back. We're doing Sugar Busters. I'm Dr. Lenore Coleman. For those of you who may have just tuned in, I'm president and founder of Healing Our Village, and we're talking today about nutrition. We have talked a lot about the different types of fats, saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats. I want to talk now about salt. As African Americans, for sure, we're eating way too much salt in our diet, and it's important for us not to eat salt because it directly affects our blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is high, it's probably because you're getting too much salt in your diet. We know that you're only supposed to have about 2,400 milligrams of sodium per day. So that's 1 teaspoon of salt per day. So we need to go to our spice cabinet right now, and everything that says salt, you need to get rid of it. Onion salt, garlic salt, seasoned salt, all that stuff needs to go. You got to use your herbs, your spices. There's a number of like combination products out there that have a lot of these things all mixed up in the same bottle. And so you need to start using those products to season your food. And definitely take the salt shaker off the kitchen table. You can't be salting your food. Some people salt their food, they haven't even tasted it to see if it's got enough salt. So salt is deadly. So substitution of herbs and spices and food flavorings for the salt is very important. And then there are salty foods like potato chips and corn chips and lunch meat and ham hocks and hot dogs and dill pickles, canned foods. If you're going to eat canned foods, you got to pour the liquid off of them and wash them. So you can wash at least some of the salt off of the vegetable, because they're stored in salt to be able to keep them fresh in those containers. So canned foods are a problem. That's why I always recommend that you try to eat fresh or you try to eat frozen. Both of those are really important. Eating more fresh fruits and vegetables is critical. I ask you to eat more raw. That's also important. You got to look at your food labels and see if they say low sodium or low salt. That's what you're looking for. That's what the label needs to say. Here's some examples of foods that are high in salt. All right, so soy sauce. People don't think about that, but soy sauce has a lot of salt. Soups. Remember I said canned. Anything and soups are almost all canned. So canned soups, TV dinners, high concentrations of salt. All right, so all of these you have to think about when you're putting your meals together and making sure that you're decreasing your salt, especially if you're African American and have high blood pressure, because that's the leading reason that our blood pressures are super, super, super high. We already talked a little bit about fiber, eating more vegetables that are fiber, eating things that are more raw, less cooked, eating the whole fruit as opposed to the fruit juice. Brown rice, wild rice. If you're going to eat rice, you need to eat those because they're higher in fiber. Dried peas and beans. A lot of you guys are going to be making up your black-eyed peas and all of those kinds of foods over your holidays. Red beans and rice. All of those things are really good because they're high in fiber. So eating more of that and less of the more concentrated fats is really an important thing. Meat, we talked a little bit about less beef, more poultry, more fish. Just looking at the different in calorie counts. If you're looking at an 1,800 calorie diet versus a 1,500 calorie diet, then the number of meat choices goes down if you're trying to eat a lower calorie diet. If you're looking at an 1,800 calorie diet, let's say that's a fourth a cup of salmon or tuna. If you're looking at a 1,500 calorie diet, you can have a half of a chicken breast. Now I know everybody's eating the whole chicken breast. So this portion control thing is a big deal. right? It's all about how much you're consuming. If you can get those portions down, it matters less about exactly what you're eating. Here's a beautiful picture of your cereal here. It's got granola, which is your fiber, but it's got some apples and some nuts and some grapes and some berries in there. That's a great breakfast. And it has all of the things you need. It has your fruits, it has your fiber, it has your dairy. So this is a good thing for you to think about when you're eating in the morning for breakfast. Trying to think about fruits and vegetables, try to think about arriving at 5. So in the course of a day, you've eaten at least 5 total servings of fruits and vegetables, right? So to do that, in order to get to 5, you're going to have to think about having a little bit of one of those at each of the meals, right? So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you have 3 opportunities to get 5 things in. So you have to think about that. You have 3 opportunities to get 5 things in, especially if you're not going to eat your snacks. Now, if you're also eating your snacks, that apple or those strawberries or the cantaloupe or all of those things could be eaten as a snack, and that helps you get to 5. Portions is also important. So we don't want you eating a whole lot, the whole cantaloupe. You're only going to have maybe a half a cup or a cup of the cantaloupe and the strawberries. The more concentrated that fruit is, the more calories it has. The berries, almost all of them are good. So blueberries and boysenberries and strawberries and raspberries, all of those are good. So again, using those maybe as snacks might work for you, right? So maybe throw it on some yogurt or throw it in a bowl, cut up a few banana slices, put a little low-calorie whipping cream on there. And that's a good dessert for you to be able to eat. For those of you who have diabetes, who need to lose weight, I really recommend that you go see a dietitian so they can get you on a meal plan. So they're helping you plan your meals. Remember I told you how important meal planning is. It's really hard to do it by yourself. So if you can get a dietitian to come in and help you, then that makes it easier for you to get started. It's that first 2 to 4 weeks. Once you've done this thing for 2 to 4 weeks, then you really pretty much got it. You know what you can have and you can't have, and you can start really planning your own meals. But you need help in the beginning to figure that whole thing out. Reading your food labels, being a smart shopper. You have to understand food labels, especially if you have diabetes, because we're talking about carbohydrates. So you have to look on your food label for the carbohydrate. But if you have heart disease, hypertension, high cholesterol, heart failure, then you're looking at that food label also for the fat content. So you can see it says it very Remember I told you 45 to 55 grams per meal? So as you're putting your meals together, you're adding up the total amount of carbohydrate in whatever it is that you're eating. All right? Fats need to be 30% of your total calories. So I tell people just to shoot for zero fat if you can. The more things that you're eating that have no fat, the easier it is for you to get that fat down. You see, it also lists how much the dietary fiber is in this product. It lists how much sugar is in this product. But the one thing I want to draw your attention to is the number of calories per serving. All right, so this basically says that this, whatever it is, that frozen carrots is what we're looking at here. In this bag of frozen carrots, there's 6 servings that can be gotten out of this bag. And if you eat the whole bag, you're multiplying 6 times 30, because it says there's 30 calories per serving. So when you look at something and you're planning on eating all of it, you got to do that math calculation. Because I just told you that women are somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500, and men are somewhere between 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day. So you got to start doing the math on what you're about to eat the whole thing of to make sure that you're in that calorie count for your daily consumption. Portions, I think that's the trick, really. I think that you can pretty much eat anything as long as you only have a little bit. So you gotta figure out your portion sizes. Get some good measuring cups, so you know what a half a cup looks like. You know what a cup of something looks like. You know what a fourth of something looks like. So again, as you're doing this, after a while, you'll know what the portion needs to be because you've already measured it a couple of times. We talked about learning how to substitute. This is really important. So again, you can see on that substitution side of this, we're talking about low-fat cheese. We're talking about low-fat mayonnaise. We're talking about turkey. We're talking about turkey bacon. We're talking about lean ham. We're talking about low-fat milk. So all of this is just eating the same food, but just taking the calories down, taking the fat amount down. That's all you're basically doing. We talked a little bit about alcohol. It is a depressant. A lot of people think that drinking alcohol makes them feel better, but it actually is a depressant, especially if you drink it in large amounts. That's why if you drink in large amounts, it makes you go to sleep. Some people use alcohol actually to help them go to sleep, right? But in order to do that, you got to drink a whole lot of it. And alcohol has calories. So you have to think about, especially if you have diabetes, you have to think about what type of alcohol your doctor is allowing you to drink and how much of it. Because like I said, when you think about it in terms of the exchange, it's basically a fat exchange. So definitely stay away from the sweet wines, the liqueurs, the sugary mixed drinks. All of those are high in sugar content, right? A lot of physicians will allow you to have like a half a cup of red wine with your dinner, all right? But how many times a week they let you do that is then again a discussion with your doctor. This just shows you what we're talking about. So champagne is 4 ounces is 2 fats. A light wine is 1 fat. So these are basically fat exchanges when you're thinking about your alcoholic drink that you're drinking. This is a slide that I show during all of my presentations to patients. And this is what I also tell my kids, right? So you need to stop lying to yourself. All right? You know you're doing bad. You know you're eating stuff you're not supposed to be eating. And there is no justification for it. Oh, I hear nuts are healthy. Okay, well that is true. Nuts are healthy, but that doesn't mean you can eat a whole can of cashews. And that means you're like more healthy because you ate more of it. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so you got to decide that you're going to make a change, and it's really mental. This whole thing's mental. Trust for somebody who has been up and down in their weight their entire life. There are just periods in my life where I can do it, and I'm in a zone. And then there are periods in my life when it's just so much going on, I just can't concentrate on the eating piece. And that's just real. And so I understand. I get it. But every day I do try to do something that makes sense. All right? So that's what I do on a daily basis. And it helps, right? It helps. And then sometimes I get into a zone and I'm able to really lose all the weight that I'm trying to lose. Snacking is another challenge. So you gotta eat healthy snacks. So apples are listed on here, blueberries, any berry, a banana, but if it's a big banana, you can only have half of it. A whole wheat toast is an option with a little bit of peanut butter on it. So all of these can be considered good snacking. The other thing to look for in the stores, if you can afford it, is these 100-calorie snack packs. So you'll see them. They're in the grocery store, where it tells you that what's in this container, in those little packets, is 100 calories. So a snack needs to be between 100 and 120 calories. Now, let me just show you what you have to do to burn up that 100 calories if you weigh 154 pounds. That means you need to run for 10 minutes at 5 miles per hour, bicycle for 10 minutes at 10 miles per hour, aerobics, you're looking at 12 minutes, dancing 18 minutes. That's just to burn the 100 calories that you just took, okay? So you can see that this calories in, calories out is hard. You really have to be intentional about the amount of exercise you're getting, and you got to do it every day. It's a constitution, right? Most of the people that I know who walk every day, and they every day, 7 days a week, rain or shine, sleet or snow, they're out there walking. And they're walking 10,000 or more steps a day. Those people tend to be a pretty good weight. They're able to control their weight because they are really making sure that those calories are calories out. For those of you like me who've had hip surgeries, knee surgeries, that walking is hard. So it's harder for us to figure out how to burn those calories. So I'm trying to get back into the gym to do more weight training. I'm also, certainly during the summer months, I get in my pool and I do my water aerobics. I'm trying, now that COVID is really pretty much died down, it's still there, but it's pretty much died down. I'm trying to get back into the gym to use the pool, their pool during the winter months. Some of you are seniors, senior centers, they have classes that you can go to. A lot of the churches have classes. So you just got to get out there and make it so that this is a routine and you make sure you do something every day. So that is Sugar Busters Nutrition and Meal Planning. I hope you learned something today. We know that we're here for you at Healing Our Village. Please share these videos with your family and your friends. As you know, they're on demand up at my Healing Our Village official YouTube page. So please go there, share these things. I'm trying to get hundreds of thousands of people to watch us every Saturday so we can learn something. I do have a weight loss program that is being launched. It's a mobile app. And so if you want to learn more about Step Up 90 as part of our Village Club program, please give us a call and we can get you signed up on the app. For those who have high blood pressure, for those who have high blood sugar, we do sell our diabetes meter and our blood pressure cuffs up on our website. So they are available for you all to purchase so that you're monitoring your numbers. We also have something called Wellness Wednesdays. We are located in Jonesboro, Georgia on Main Street. Come on down. It says Total Lifestyle Change on the sign, and we're here every Wednesday from 11 to 3 just to take your blood pressures. We do COVID testing here Monday through Friday. So for those of you who are about to gather with your family, even though COVID is pretty much down, there are still people getting COVID. And remember, 50% of the people who have COVID are asymptomatic. So as you're gathering together in large groups over these holidays, please make sure that everybody knows they're COVID negative before you get together so we don't have an uptick in COVID this winter. Here's our numbers where you can reach us, 800-788-0941. Call us. We'll get you connected with our dietitians, our pharmacists. There's something called Village Club that we'd love you to join. It's only $6 a month, $72 a year. It's like your own concierge medical team. So any questions that you have, anything, things that you need to be changed, we help you get your blood pressure under control. We help you get your blood sugar under control. We help you lose those extra pounds that you need to lose. I have experts that work with you one-on-one to be able to get you to where you need to be. So please take advantage of this. Spread the word for us. Village Club is available, and we're out there. I also have a nonprofit called Total Lifestyle Change, where it funds us to go out to do health fairs for veterans and seniors. And so, you know, this is the giving season, and in fact, Tuesday is Giving Tuesday. So please go up to our website, tlcglobal.org, and there's a donation button right up there. Anything you can do to help us, as small of the amount as you can give, we'll take it. And that way we can continue our work in underserved communities so that we can make sure that people are living and not dying of these chronic conditions that are plaguing our families. So again, thank you so much for watching today, and we will be back next week, Sugar Busters, and we'll make sure that you all can get through these holidays with no issues. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Hello, I'm Dr. Lenore Coleman, President and founder of Healing Our Village. Did you know 88 million people in the United States have prediabetes, and that number keeps growing? Did you know that more than 2 in 3 adults in the United States are either overweight or obese? Healing Our Village is excited to introduce Step Up 90 weight loss and diabetes prevention program all in one. Finally, there is a guided mobile app that will help you lose 5 to 7% of your body weight and help you get your 150 minutes of exercise in every week. All of this is available on your cell phone, notepad, or computer. To install Step Up 90, all you have to do is go to www.stepup90 from your phone or computer and hit the install button. Once the icon is added to your home screen, you can create a unique login and password or use your Facebook or Google login credentials. Do you have prediabetes? Does diabetes run in your family? Well, once you log in to Step Up 90, you can take the diabetes risk test. If you score more than 5, you may be at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Step Up 90 features the CDC-approved Prevent T2 program, along with their food log, fitness log, and action plan. All materials can be printed or downloaded for easy use. Our monthly calendar provides our virtual class schedule with a reminder 30 minutes before the class to help you remember. Are you looking for easy to understand lifestyle videos, healthy recipes, exercise classes, nutritional support groups, or a cooking demonstration? All of this is available with our premium package. The most unique feature of Step Up 90 is your ability to chat with your lifestyle coach, a clinical pharmacist, or a registered dietitian. These experts will have weekly office hours. They are there to help you achieve your lifestyle goals and manage your medications. Sign up today for Step Up 90. We have our basic package starting at $5.99, featuring our weekly Zoom classes, and our premium package at $19.99. Step Up 90, it is time for you to step up.